Welcome to Edge Excellence, powering the world with Edge AI. I'm Jay Liston. I'm Director of Partnerships and Business Alliance at Advantech in North America, and I work with partners every day, and we have a great panel here of folks to talk about this topic and to give you some good information as we can all work together going forward. So I'm going to turn it over to our first panelist, Rob from WPG.
Thanks, Jay. My name is Rob Joyce. I have responsibility for business development and engineering at WPG Americas, and also the lead for driving Edge AI.
My name is Irfan Ali. I'm the Edge segment sales lead for NVIDIA, and I'm responsible for both the hardware and software solutions at the Edge.
Charlie Wu here, and I'm the Associate Director for the product management. I manage a team of product managers that's responsible for the embedded product line, and that handles also some of our Edge AI solutions.
All right, so you see the logos behind us. So WPG, one of our great distributors here at Advantech, brings a lot of value to us. So I want Rob to tell us a little bit about that value before we dig in with Irfan from our good friend at NVIDIA. Go ahead, Rob.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah. We are part of WPG Holdings, which is a $19 billion company based in Taiwan. We have a worldwide footprint. We have leadership in the U.S. that is focused on training our people, coming up to speed on AI at the edge, and that's really the focus that we have moving forward, is to bring engineering to the community and to Advantech and take a leading technology into our customer base. We have top-notch salespeople, and the engineering tool that reports up into me is specifically trained on Edge AI, and we're hiring more and more engineers to bring computing to the edge through Advantech.
It's great, and we've had great growth with WPG over the last couple of years. It's grown stronger. I've known Irfan now for a long time. We've been great partners with NVIDIA over the years, and I'd like you to talk a little bit. I've seen him speak many times on the subject. It's exciting. Your GTC is great with your leader. You can probably talk about him, but Edge AI, what excites you about it? What really does it turn you on when you start talking to customers about?
Well, I think what's exciting about Edge AI is that, with all you probably heard all the things that we're doing at NVIDIA and the market cap and all the growth, all that has been done in the data center and in the cloud. What's exciting about Edge is that all that, when companies invest there, they're building is basically cost. They're not making any money when they do that. But when they inference their models, that's what they do, they inference them at the edge. So all that transition is going to come to the edge. That's what's exciting. And we see a lot of enterprises transitioning from doing AI that is based on the recommender type engines or in the back of the house, now more into the front of the house where they're actually connecting with customers. They're looking at the factory floors. They're looking at the retail stores, and really AI becomes front and center from an inference at the edge standpoint.
Okay, and also you mentioned market cap, so stock price is good for you, so congratulations. So
Thank you.
Cloud AI, Edge AI, what's the difference?
Well, it really depends on where are you doing inference, where are you actually running your models. So in some cases where your response requirements are not so great, and what we talk about in terms of latency. So like, for example, if you're in the retail store and you're doing just your shopper monitoring, you can actually do that in the cloud. When you're actually doing self checkout or just grab and go, then you probably want to do that very quickly at the edge because it's more real time. So really, the difference between cloud and edge is really depends on what type of response and how quickly do you want to respond to the inferencing that you're doing. So that's where we look at different types of compute models that apply. Some things are more designed for the edge or for the cloud, and then we have different models that we're working with you guys at the edge.
Okay, so hardware company, you guys talk a lot about software. Tell me about that.
Well, a lot of people think we're a hardware company, and granted, our maybe our history is there, but now we talk about our company in the context of platform. It's really the combination. We do the hardware and the software that makes what we do from an AI standpoint come to life. So really, that's why we talk a lot about software, because a lot of the software that we're talking about now, that companies, as they go from experimenting with AI to really driving AI in production, they want now enterprise level support, and that enterprise level support is on their software. So the underlying platform has to be able to do that as well. That's why we focus on software now more so.
Okay, so from a WPG perspective, how do you bring this all together? You have a great team. You have a technical center in Chicago. We are on calls all the time. How does WPG bring all of this together to the customer?
Yeah, again, it really comes down to the people, and it's going down to the device level that we had talked about earlier, and just getting to the to where the technology is being used in the field, right? So we have a longer reach or deeper reach into the field to get to the end device, and then back that into the best solution from an Advantech standpoint with for Edge AI.
All right, Advantech is obviously a hardware company, and we have a hardware expert here with us today, Charlie. Tell us a little about the trends you're seeing in a vertical nature in the marketplace that we're addressing today with our friends from NVIDIA and WPG.
So from the vertical standpoint, I've seen a lot more verticals starting to pick up upon the Edge AI requirement. And as Irfan was mentioned earlier, is really about the latency that is driving the need for Edge AI. Many different vertical markets, such as, say, for example, autonomous vehicle. When you're having an autonomous vehicle driving on the road, and you have a pedestrian all of a sudden walk in front of the car, you're not going to wait and say, okay, let me communicate with the cloud to see if I need to stop. The Edge AI inference model needs to be in there to stop the car immediately. Same thing with security. When there is somebody breaching the perimeter, and the AI is picking up on it, they don't need to go up to the cloud to ask, should I contact the security personnel to come in and control the person that's breaching the perimeter? So we do see a lot more vertical market that's starting to pick up on the Edge AI.
Yeah, I can add to that too. I mean, we've had a lot of interest in fast food restaurants and in customer tracking and tracking the traffic and how it flows through a restaurant or how it flows through a store. And then just to do the analytics, like where are they stopping? Where are they picking up speed? There's just a lot that's going on that's actually using a lot of the Jetson. Seems to be a popular design for
Yep. And we do also see a lot more other vertical market now starting to need AI, again, in the context of less latency, fast response time. For example, AGV, AMR application, particularly in the warehouse automation type of application. And yes.
Yeah, I have a question. So we're also seeing trends in the medical industry as well. Are you seeing similar?
Absolutely. So medical actually is very interesting. So we got some applications, particularly in, say, ultrasound imaging or X-ray imaging, where previously the doctor will have to look at those imagings, take a little bit of a time, try to remember what they have in their mind. And that's why I jokingly say it's always co-practice, because they're always practicing on their patients to try to figure out what's right and what's wrong. But with the AI being in the play for the medical field, now you have a vast knowledge of different images that they can compare to. Okay, if this image indicated this patient previously that was diagnostic with certain type of illness, when they look almost identical, does that mean this new patient also have the same situation? So that's something that is being used. Another one is actually the surgical robot that we have seen a lot more implementation with the AI implemented, try to assist the particularly the physician on making the right decision when they make the cut.
And Irfan, you're a global leader, right? So what are the differences between, say, North America and others? There's a lot of similarity, a lot of differences. What do you see from a vertical standpoint?
Yeah, this is a good question, because there are similarities, but there are also different focuses. Like, for example, in the U.S. seems to be very broad. I mean, what you just mentioned, in retail and manufacturing, healthcare, medical devices, and it's pretty broad. In EMEA, in Europe, it seems to be more focused on industrial, on at least from the engagements that I've seen. Seems to be very much Industry 4.0 with AI, building, moving from just optimization to actually intelligence with robots. And if I go swing over to the Asia Pacific, it seems more medically oriented, just like what you mentioned, because I think there's probably a gap there that they're solving for, and a lot of it is remote medicine, telemedicine. They're taking advantage of those technologies,
right? Especially during the pandemic period where you cannot really go to
that actually jump started a lot of that.
Do you think there'll be a lot of regulation in the medical as far as implementing AI?
There's always going to be regulation, especially in the medical area. From my experience dealing with some of the medical accounts, there's a lot of steps to try to get the system FDA approved. In which case, we try to assist by being FDA approved for the North American facility and some of the other facility as well. But I would say that it's really the equipment builders' responsibility. They are the one who's complying with those regulations. And what we do here a lot of time is try to assist them in the background, whatever certification they need, whatever hardware requirement that they come up with. We look at all the different solutions that we have either off the shelf or we can do customization for them to meet that regulation. So when it comes to AI, I'm not sure if Congress actually have anything that's currently in play. I'm pretty sure there's always something.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, Irfan, if you know anything about it?
I don't know about Congress, but from a regulatory and compliance standpoint, I think that a lot of the hardware that we build the documentation, both in the hardware and the software, to be able to get it medically certified, for example, if they're using it in a medical environment or in the industrial environment. There's several IEC certifications that we adhere to. And NVIDIA is taking that on from a hardware and software standpoint. We don't certify because it has to be certified as a complete component, right? From the customer standpoint. But all the documentation and capabilities are in there to allow for that certification to happen.
Okay. So I think the basic question is, with a little nuance or a lot of nuance maybe, is AI. I mean, what are we doing to address it? What do we see? What are you doing?
Well, from a company standpoint, we are rifle focused on edge computing and really AI into the edge. So it starts with, training the salespeople, the engineers, and making sure that we're partnering with the right suppliers like an Advantech. And if you really look at what we do is we extend the supplier's reach. So we can get to customers that you may not be getting to. We can introduce a technology. We have strong relationships with security companies, medical companies, a lot of the factory, automation type of companies. And we're kind of our feet on.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. I mean, in just speaking from an NVIDIA standpoint, we're a company of only 30,000 people. 90% of them are engineering-based, product development folks. Only 10% is business development and sales. There's no way we could address the market that AI has without partners like Advantech and WPG. So everything you guys are doing is right on.
But how do you harness that energy? That's a lot of people, right? I mean, we have like 8,000 or 9,000 people within Advantech. Harnessing that energy for what you're doing now, I think that's what the partnership is all about, right?
I completely agree. Yeah.
And that's where WPG becomes a very important partner of ours, where not only that they are bringing business to us, sometimes we can cooperate together and put some of our customers in their hands and have them take care of them for us. And when it comes to hardware selection, we work with WPG. We make recommendation about our hardware solution. When it comes to edge AI, we talk to the NVIDIA and say, okay, for this application, what do you guys recommend?
Yeah.
And then put together something that's more ideal for that particular application. Then we can all go to the market together.
The only one thing I would add, I completely agree, is that each one of us, right, as individual companies, are engaged with the customer at a different level. So I think there's probably, like NVIDIA, for example, could probably help with the vision and the evangelism of AI and the engagement of the high level. And then with the system developers who can actually pull those, make those systems available for the customers to deploy. And then, how do you get those in the customer's hands? I think that's what I'm saying. I think the ecosystem works really well, but each of us have a part to play.
So if there's one thing that you would say, and I'll ask each of you this, just one thing, maybe one sentence about what's the most important thing from an edge AI standpoint, AI edge standpoint, most important thing that you would do on a daily basis. Who wants to take that one first?
If I look at it from my standpoint, is educating the customer on what is possible with AI. I think a lot of people have either a concept of what AI could do, but they're typically within the box of their company or their role. And I think when I get up is to say, well, I see across all industries. So how do I ensure the customer can have that perspective on what's possible and not be constrained by their own environment?
The art of the possible. Sure.
From my perspective is actually more so of one, timing, and two, do I have the right solution? Because a lot of the time what I found is timing is everything. The project has already gone on for a little bit and we come in second or third place, that's too late. And there's also the part where customers are really looking for something extremely cheap that does not align with Advantech's capability. They are looking for something commercial that, quite frankly, the solution might be dime a dozen. Okay, they don't need Advantech. It's not our value add. Our value add is somewhere else. So we need to look for the right customer, the right solution, and also the right timing.
Yeah, I would say Edge AI is the most exciting thing that's happened to me in my career. And, it's been a long career. And I think the most important thing is education. People have to understand where we are now. And I think we haven't even scratched the surface of where it's going to go, from an edge perspective, right? So it's going to influence our lives more and more each year. And it's going to be hockey stick growth.
Yeah. That's the exciting part about it, right? You have something in front of you that you think, oh, in 2 years it's going to be this, and it may not be that. And you just got to ride the wave, correct?
Well, yes. And I think what you've said is completely right. We don't know where it's going to go. That's why it's so important for customers to pick the right infrastructure and technology partners to go on that journey with. I think that's going to be key.
Yeah. And I think the culture of the companies you're working with are important too, because it can go sideways pretty quickly, as we've seen, some things done with videos today that look like people are doing a video and it's not really them doing the video. It's all generated by AI.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it comes down to having the trust in companies like yourselves to know that you're going to, take all the security measures you can.
Yeah. So I'll leave the question for all three. You can jump in and answer, everyone. So what should a customer consider when they're thinking about this strategy for their company, of where they go? What should a customer be considering? And what are you hearing customers now considering for AI in general and Edge specifically as they try to plot their future in this business?
Yeah, maybe I can start. I think if you're a customer thinking about, how do I get started in this? Number one, AI is not just a technology, but it's a capability. I think you need to think about it in context of what can it enable for your business. So it becomes part and parcel of your business strategy. So if you're not thinking about it in that context, then I think it becomes a project it becomes a science project, if you will, right? So I think it has to become part of your business strategy as you're thinking about how do you take advantage of AI, because that is going to become a competitive differentiator for you in the marketplace. And a lot of companies are doing this. So if you're not already thinking in those terms, you need to speed up. So that's number one. Number two is, as you think about deploying AI in your environment or in different use cases, you have to look at it, like I said, from a complete stack standpoint. What is the hardware capabilities? What is the orchestration and management capabilities? And then what is the software capabilities that you want to build on top of that? Whether you're buying software from an ISV or to solve a particular use case, or you're internally building. My guess is going to probably be doing both in your future, right? So whatever software stack you pick has to be flexible. It has to be one that is ubiquitous. So you can run it at the edge, you can run it in the cloud, you can run it in your data center, and it has to be available with a lot of your ecosystem partners like Advantech and others, right? So I think that's what I would consider if I'm a customer looking at getting into AI.
So powering Advantech is NVIDIA, right? Powering the sales effort is WPG. How do you take that, give it to your team, find the customers? What's the role of WPG in driving this technology going forward?
Yeah, it really starts with training the team on where we are with AI and where AI is going. I was actually surprised when we were talking earlier about your view of how large the edge is going to be compared to like the data center, right? And it's true. There's so many different applications out there that it's hard to put a solution together that's going to fit everybody, right? I think most of the semiconductor manufacturers today are building specific semiconductors for AI, like vision. Vision seems to be a real focus, right? So everything wants to see right now. So it's really building up the education that we have with the team to go to those customers and try to help those customers feel more comfortable moving into AI. I mean, I think we're at the very infancy stages of AI.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you.
Well, let me just clarify the point that we were talking about earlier. I don't know if the audience was part of that dialogue.
Yeah.
So I think what I was mentioning is if you look at where AI investments are going on today, they're really going into the data center, into the training of the AI models, and that's where those, no question, those are large volume numbers that are big. There's big iron that we're selling. So and you can see that the business has been driven. But if I equate to where we are today with AI versus where market size wise versus where we were with mainframe versus PC, centralized processing versus distributed processing, and the market sizes of the two. This is my opinion, right? If you look at the size of the business we have in the data center versus where AI could be as we start rolling it out from an inferencing standpoint at the edge, there's many more data points at the edge that you can do and run in a distributed manner. And the cost of that compute is going down over time. So I think you'll see more people investing in that edge inferencing and edge accelerated computing. So I venture to say that market is going to dwarf what we're doing in the data center in the future. And that's why that's the point that we were making.
So as we wrap things up here, I'll ask you first. What does partnership look like? I love partnership. That's what I do on a daily basis. I'm working with people all the time and doing things, going places, trying to really make sure that we're all, together. You mentioned people, right? People is a big thing of how we do business at Advantech. So what does partnership mean to you in this type of atmosphere and what we can do together?
I think we're all in a major learning curve right now when it comes to Edge AI, what it is, right? It's not like your buzzword of IoT, and the AI can change society in a big way, right? So I think the partnership is to understand the technologies we have today, where the technologies are going to go, and make sure that we're bringing the right solutions to the customers. Because it's not just a buzzword. I think you would want to start with a solid solution because it's just going to grow more and more complex as you go.
Yeah, I would add. I think what you said is exactly right. We're still learning on what AI can do. And at NVIDIA, people think of us as kind of pushing the envelope and leading that edge. And the way we do that is that we are learning ourselves. And the way we learn is by building systems. And I was mentioning earlier to this group that, we built a platform called Earth 2. Earth 2 is basically simulating the entire Earth from a climate and environmental standpoint. And why do we do that? That's nothing to do with building GPUs or writing, but it has a lot to do with how you want to learn and create large scale models that impact the world. And then we make that available to other agencies to leverage. We're also building robots. You see us doing that. We're building clouds. We're building large data center systems. Why are we doing that? Because we want to learn on what are the tools needed? What is the software needed? What is the skill set and competencies needed to be able to build those things so that we can then disaggregate that and then make it available for our partners and our customers to leverage. So, are we in the business of selling those systems? Yeah, in some cases we have, but it mostly is to build the tools and the capabilities and the software so that our partners and customers can take advantage of that. So that we have to learn that first so that we can share with others.
I'm going to do a quick question. You just give a quick answer to it, right? So Charlie, let's start with you. 2 to 3 years, where do you see AI impacting what you do at Advantech?
Moving forward on what I do in Advantech is how the AI is going to be able to automate and improve some of the processes within our company to make things more efficient, make the communication more clear between different parties, if you will, the different departments, that allowing a smoother, less error type of communication. That's where I do see how AI can impact us. As far as business goes, it's going to be relying on our partner to work together and then we are going to further define what kind of AI performance is needed for both cost purposes and also energy saving purposes. As everybody's into the more greener earth, less power waste, we don't need an NVIDIA 4090 to run some very basic AI application. That's basically what I do see.
NVIDIA, what do you see? You see a lot.
We see a lot. I mean, so personally, I'll probably be using a lot more AI agents to do a lot of my tasks. I think we already do it. I mean, we already use Copilot with Microsoft, for all of our communication. I'll probably be using a lot of that. From a business standpoint, we're seeing the same. If it's still in the edge construct, that a lot of people are leveraging these large language models, and they'll probably be domain-specific large language models and task-specific large language models that enterprises will adopt. And there'll be not just one, it'll be multiples that they're leveraging to generate these agents that people are going to be using. So I think that's going to be a proliferation of that. From my standpoint, both from a professional and personal life on how I use these agents, but also from how enterprises are going to adopt these enabling those agents.
Yeah. Good stuff. As a part of one of the largest distributors in the world, WPG Holdings, how do you see WPG America, which you are a part of, driving this proliferation of AI and how you can be that value to the customer?
Yeah, it's really making the investments. It's making the investments and the technical resources that will help the customers make the right decisions on what kind of solutions they want. It's proactively going after it. We train our inside sales, outside sales, the whole organization on AI, what it means, where it's come from, where it's going. And the entire organization is responsible to understand it and to be able to talk to our customers about it. And we just think, it's the place to be. And that's really where we're focusing all of our resources.
Good. Edge excellence. That's what we're doing today. Great discussion, guys. Appreciate you having you here. And thanks to the panel we have and our distinguished guests who have joined us today to talk about Edge AI and the exciting future that we see and how we can help you here. So thank you for watching and listening. Talk to you soon. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Good work. Good work.